Hey guys, and welcome to another video. Now in this video we'll be taking a look at the new Redmi Note 8 Pro. We'll be unboxing it as well as taking a quick look at the device itself. Now because of the flash sales, it has been very difficult for me to get the device till now, but we finally have it, and let's take a look. Now on the box it's showing the white phone, but as you can see on the back we have black color, and this particular unit is a 6 GB RAM and 128 GB storage variant. Now coming to other specs of the device, as you can see on the back, this has the new MediaTek Helio G90T processor. Now this is actually a very good processor, and it's competing with the Snapdragons of its equivalents, and it actually is proving its worth according to at least the benchmarks that I have seen till now. And the battery is also 4500 milliamperes, and it also tells you about the selfie camera and the 64 megapixel rear camera that it has. So let's cut the seal open, but before that, here we have Alexa built-in thing that's mentioned on the side. So if you are going to be using Echo Dots and all, this is actually a very useful thing that Alexa is built into the phone. So let's cut the seals open and take a look at what comes in the box itself. So let me lift the top lid off. Now lifting the top lid off, here you can see this traditional accessory box on the top. So let's lift that off, and as you can see below it is the phone itself. But let's open this first and see what we have inside this little box. So here we can see the SIM card ejector tool, and then we have a TPU case. It's actually very nice that we're getting a TPU case with the phone, and it also matches the color of the phone, so it's actually very good. And then we have these two information leaflets from Xiaomi, and let's put all of this aside so that we can take a look at the phone itself. So let's take the phone out of the box. Just a second, let me just flip it over. Yes, so we have the phone in hand, and right off the bat it actually feels very substantial and actually a little bit on the heavier side as well. Let me put that aside, and let's lift this up and see what we get under that. So lifting it off, as you can see, we have the USB type C cable first. It's actually nice that now they're including type C. Then we have the power brick itself. Let's take a closer look at the voltage, and yes, it's an 18 watt fast charger compared to the 10 watts that they used to give previously. So that's another nice thing we have. So let's put all this aside. Let's take the phone and take a quick look at it. So let's remove it from the plastic wrap that it has. So yeah, so it has this kind of matte kind of protective plastic on the top of it with all the Redmi branding and Xiaomi branding. So turning it to the back, you can actually see how beautiful that back is. It's actually a very good combination of colors. It reflects very well, and here as you can see it has a dual nano SIM slot and SD card slot, and this is our quad camera setup, and yeah, it looks pretty good for the first timer. And let me remove this plastic from the front so that we can take a better look at the phone. So this is the full HD display that we have on the phone itself. So on the back, let's take a closer look. As you can see, the reflections that are coming off the light that I have is actually very beautiful. It is actually a glass back as well, so we're not getting plastic. So this is the main 64 megapixel shooter. Then we have 8 megapixel ultra wide, and then we have 2 megapixel macro, and this is the depth sensor, and this is the fingerprint scanner. We have by Xiaomi logo here. But let's peel the plastics that we have so that we can see if there is any additional branding on the device itself. So let me peel the second one off as well. Yes, so here we have the Redmi branding as well. So over and all, it actually looks pretty sleek and minimalist. There is not a lot of writing or anything else on the back. So let's power this on, and by the time the phone boots up, let's take a look at what's there on the phone itself. So as you can see on the right side, we have the volume rockers as well as the power button. Both of them are actually tactile, and then on the top we have IR blaster and the secondary noise cancellation microphone. On the side we have the two trays, one for SD card and one for the nano SIM cards, and then on the down we have Type C loudspeaker and the headphone jack itself. And here, as you can see, we have two apps that Xiaomi recommends to install, and those are not like optional, they are mandatory. You cannot just untick, as I'm showing you here. You cannot untick them. There is no other way but to click OK on the setup to move on to the next step. I don't know for what strange reason, but yeah, while the rest of the process is finished, let's talk about the pricing of the phone. Actually, this particular 6GB 128GB variant is priced at 16,000 rupees, while we have a higher version of 8GB RAM with 128 gigs of storage at 18,000. But if you think both of them are actually overpriced for you, you can also have the 4GB RAM variant. But me personally, I think the 6GB RAM variant gives more price to performance ratio that you can expect. Now the setup is complete, so let's look at the home screen setup, how it's and all. So yes, so this is a typical Xiaomi home screen setup. It doesn't have any app drawers and all, so it's actually looking very clean. Let's see what all are installed. So you have this MI Pay, MI Credit and all installed. Alexa is also pre-built, as you can see, and this games folder is there. Let's see. So as you can see, there is actually a lot of bloatware installed, and I didn't expect this much of bloatware in a Xiaomi's phone, but that's quite a lot of bloatware. I hope we can uninstall them. And the taskbar, quick toggles and notifications is all typical Xiaomi's MIUI style. So let's take that off. And if you observe, they're giving a lot of importance to Alexa. It's right in the middle of the first screen of the phone itself, so it's a good thing. So let's take a look at the camera now. Yeah, let's give all the permissions, and it first of all it tells you about the macro mode that this phone has. So you can take close-up macros and make small things look bigger, usual thing. So let me take a quick picture, and I'll show you the picture, and let's see how the picture turns out. So talking about the cameras, the 64 megapixel camera is a Samsung made camera, and it actually is a good performer. Let's see what Xiaomi does with the image processing and their software processing, but it technically should be nice. And I think they also have a 64 megapixel mode to take advantage of the whole sensor. So let's see. This is a picture I have taken, and it actually looks pretty good, and the detail is definitely there. So it's not a bad picture by any means. It's actually very good. And down, as you can see, there's a watermark as well. So let's click the back button and look at the other modes. This camera doesn't, this phone doesn't actually have a telephoto camera, but it's interesting to see a 2x mode, and this is the ultra wide mode. So let's also take a picture in the ultra wide mode, and let's see how the picture looks. Usually ultra wides are a little bit less quality compared to the main sensors, but let's see what it is in the case of Xiaomi. Yeah, the picture is definitely good, but the contrast is a little bit off, and definitely when we zoom in, the detail is actually missing. But it's an ultra wide, we can't expect a lot at this price point. So it's actually a nice thing that you're getting all this at this price point. We'll test the macros later, and let me show you all the modes in the close-up. So we have slow motion, then short video, then we have a photo mode. Here is a dedicated 64 megapixel, then the portrait, then we have night mode, then we have panorama, and then finally the pro mode with all these manual controls that you can use to capture a picture. So that's been it, guys. This ends our overview section of the phone. So that's our unboxing and overview of the Xiaomi's Redmi Note 8. If you have any questions, leave them in the comment section below, and leave a like if you like the video. Subscribe to the channel for more cool stuff like this, and I'll see you in the next one.